In this video, we are going to go over key components of SEO. If you are interested in improving your SEO, there are 3 pieces that you need to be aware of and to be working on to give yourself a fighting shot to rank highly in Google. This is part of our beginner's guide to SEO. And so we are going to touch on page, off page, and technical SEO. We aren't going to go super deep into these, but these are things that are good to be aware of, and then each one of these you're able to dive much deeper on, and we'll do that in future videos. So what are 3 main components of SEO? There's going to be on page, off page, and technical SEO. We're going to run through some elements of each of these and look at a few examples. On page SEO, this is going to be anything on your actual page, hence on page SEO, that you can optimize. And so you're looking at keywords, title tags, meta descriptions, headings, internal links, images and alt text, the content on the site itself. One area, let's get out of this. An example of this, so we'll look at this page here. So there's some tools that help to make this easier. I like using a Chrome extension called SEO Pro extension by Marketing Syrup. There are others that do similar things, but this just takes a lot of the key elements and makes them easy to see and to find. So you have your title, you have your meta description, you can see your headings, you can see internal and external links, you can see images and if there's alt text on them or not. You can see schemas on them and so forth. So title tag, we'll go over these quickly. The title tag is going to be the title of the page. In this case, it's Law Firm Marketing Whiskey SEO. The title is what typically will show up here in a search result. So it's the blue actual link. Google can sometimes changes these, but at least we can set it, and then that's what we're intending to show up there. For the title tag, you almost certainly are going to want your main keyword or keyword topic within the title tag. It's probably the most important on-page factor, and so if you're trying to rank for a term and that's not in your title tag, it's going to be an uphill battle. Your meta description kind of typically goes along with the title tag. This is going to talk about what the page is about. The meta description shows up here. It is this text below the title tag in search results. The meta description, usually it's best practice to include your keyword or your main keyword within the meta description in a natural way. And you want to think about conversion, right? You want the meta description to help entice people or get to entice them to click through to your page. Headings and internal links. So a heading is going to be, you have different types of headings, and so again we can see them here, what's on this page. You have H1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. H1 is going to be the most important, followed by H2, followed by H3, or they're going to carry the most weight. Typically, you're going to want your main keyword within the H1. Typically, you're only going to want one H1, and then you can use variations of keywords in your H2s and H3s and so forth. It should be structured relatively cleanly. I mean, in general, the H1 would be at the top, and then H2s, and then sub H3s below that. But those are your headings, your internal links, and then images and alt text. So internal links are going to be any links on the website, so anything that you can click that would take you to another page that stays on the website. You will want to strategically add internal links to group content together, and to one, it should be helpful for users, but 2, Google crawls your website through links, and so having a clean link structure is going to help Google to better understand and categorize your website. And then images and alt text. Images, it's good to have good images on the site, and then you will want to have typically alt text. This site does not, we don't have any here, so that would be something that we would want to change. The alt text should describe the image. If you can naturally include keywords within it, that's great. Alt text is officially used for people with disabilities, and so if someone's using a screen reader, if they're blind and they're using a screen reader, which is literally a tool that would read the content on the screen, when it gets to an image, it would read the alt text, and that would be explaining what the image is. And so we don't want to just like cram it full of keywords, but we want it to describe the image, and then if we can include a keyword within it, that's great. So that is on page SEO, and there's more than just this, but that's a good chunk of it. It's the things on the page that you're going to be changing. Off-page SEO, conversely, would be things off of your page that you would try to influence. On-page SEO is 100% in your control. Off-page SEO, it gets less out in your control because you're doing things like link building that you can't always control. You can't control other people's websites, and so then you need to work on how are we getting backlinks and so forth. So there's more to off-page SEO than this, but some highlights here: backlinks or link building, social media engagement, brand mentions, citations, public relations. This is citations / directories. So looking at these, a big chunk of off-page SEO is going to be link building, and so other websites that are linking to our website. There's lots of ways that this has been described, but it's a little bit of like a vote. If Google views the New York Times as an authoritative website, then they trust the New York Times. And then if the New York Times links to my website, Google sees that, and then they go, well, we don't know Sam, but we know the New York Times, and the New York Times is linking to Sam, so now we're going to trust Sam a little bit more. And then the more links that you get back to your website, the stronger that trust becomes typically. Link building is tricky. We're not going to go into detail here. There's lots of ways you can do it. There's white hat and black hat and all in between, but it is important, and so that's a piece of off-page SEO. Social media engagement, just in general, a strong. Some of these will play together. So like public relations plus brand mentions plus social media engagement. If people are talking about your brand, that's going to send, people are getting to your website. Those are good signals to Google. People are linking to your website. Those are good signals to Google. It would make sense that if people are talking about your brand, there's going to be more people searching for your brand. If people are searching for your brand, that's going to lead to people, clicking through to your website, and all of those end up creating good signals. So some of this all is it's this concoction that grows together if it's done well, and then it does help SEO. Some are, like link building is going to have a more direct effect in SEO than social media engagement or brand mentions, but it is important. They're all important, and they all are helpful from just a broad marketing perspective. Quickly, citations and directories. So citations, these are going to be your Google business profile if you're a local business, your Yelp, Apple Maps account, Bing business profiles. There's lots of different industry specific citations. And so it's helpful to have those. It's helpful to have consistent information across all of that. And then general public relations, just like people, not so much emergency PR to where it's like, oh, we did something wrong and now we need to clean it up, but just like getting on podcasts and YouTube shows or guest blogging or things like that. It's a natural way to get your brand mentioned and to get link building and so forth. So those are elements of off-page SEO. The key thing would be it's off-page, it's off your website, and so you're working to do that, and that sends a lot of trust back to your site in search engines. And then last here, we're going to look at technical SEO. So this is looking at the technical side of SEO, and so a lot of the technical piece of the website. So your site speed, is it mobile responsive or mobile friendly? Is it secure, HTTPS? Do you have an XML sitemap? Do you have robots.txt file? Do you have schema markup? These are all things that are helpful. Quickly, the quicker a site loads, the better user experience it's going to be. Mobile friendly, similarly, better user experience. Lots of people search on mobile, and so if you don't have a mobile friendly device, it's not going to be very user friendly, and it's not going to go well for you in search engines. If it's secure, this is just good practice in general, but also a non-secure site is going to have a harder time ranking, if it's not impossible at this point. An XML sitemap, this is a list of all of the pages that we want Google to index or search engines to index, and so it's helpful. It makes it easier for Google to understand what the site is about. The robots.txt file, this is telling Google what they can and can't crawl, and so there may be, and every website has pages that don't need to be indexed, and so that's helpful to have that set up properly. And then schema markup is specific code that's telling Google and search engines what the page is about, or different elements on the page are about. And if you get like rich snippets. Like these people also ask questions. Sometimes that can come from Schema. If you see it, it's not on this page, but if there's like a rich text element, I'm forgetting the terminology at the moment, but if you see a search result, there's more than just the typical search results here, but there's sort of highlights different elements of a website, or answers a question or things like that. That's usually coming from Schema markup. So key takeaways here: there's on-page, off-page, and technical SEO. On-page focuses on content and elements on your website. Off-page involves building authority and credibility outside of your website, and the technical SEO ensures that search engines can effectively crawl, index, and then rank your site. In future videos, we will dive more deeply into each one of these, but as you're getting going, it's good to be aware of these categories of SEO as you start on your journey.